My computer too. Okay, hey guys, happy Monday. It's the last Monday of August. It's the last week of August, which I don't know about you, but I don't even know where August went. If that's just one of those months where like you're cramming all that fun summer stuff in before kids go back to school. And I know for me personally, I just feel like I've been counting down the days to our leader retreat and being so excited for that. So I just feel like August was like a blur. And then to top it off, we have all of these amazing bonuses that the company has thrown at us. And then Jason Camper decides to let the cat out of the bag that he's working on a little GLP-1 alternative, which is what I really want to talk to you guys about today because there's so many directions to go with this, but I specifically just want to talk about creating a buzz around a new product. And I know some of you are like, well, we don't really know what it is yet. We don't know when it's coming out. And you're right, we don't, but that's why it's called a buzz. Right? We're not selling it yet. We're not getting specific on it yet. We're just getting people excited. And you saw, or probably partook in a little bit of that excitement already when he made a very simple post with a very primitive photo graphic, but a buzz was created instantly because it's Jason Camper. And to us as thrivers, when Jason speaks, we listen, right? That's the kind of buzz we want to create with your following. We want people to be like, oh, Lisa spoke, I'm listening, right? Shauna spoke, I'm listening. So we have time between now and whenever this product launches. And I have no idea when it's going to launch, so I don't know. But we have time now to start building up our reputation, start learning about our customers, and start getting to that, oh, okay, she spoke, I'm going to listen kind of buzz. And I want to just talk to you about, I'm a dork. I'll probably throw in some information every now and then about the GLP-1s, but I just want to talk about how you can create a buzz around a product that we don't even know anything about yet. He said Thrive Serum, so I'm assuming it's a serum. It's something we're going to swallow. I don't believe we'll be injecting ourselves, which is wonderful. And it's a holistic alternative to the GLP-1. So there are a lot of things that can also help the same way a GLP-1 does, but this won't require a prescription. This won't require a doctor's visit, that kind of thing. So first thing, so I actually have a list of information. I, got it from the interwebs. I got it actually from Forbes magazine. But different things we can do now to start creating a buzz about our product. Oh, I got my chat open. Okay. So first and foremost is establishing your credibility. And like I said, when Jason Camper made that very simple post, he already, in our minds, if you're a thriver, you've given Jason that credibility, right? He's created this company, he's created this product, he's the person who's made sure that your check is hit every Tuesday. You already know, love, and trust that man, right? So we want to create that credibility with our customer or our soon-to-be customer. So a successful offering emerges when you recognize a problem that can be solved, right? And so the problem is weight loss. The problem is insulin resistance. And I don't know how much of this we'll be able to talk about, but GLP-1 treats insulin resistance. It helps people who have insulin resistance. It also has an effect on the brain as far as what people would call food noise. So if you're always thinking about food, when's my next meal? I shouldn't eat this much. Is this good for me? That kind of stuff. But if you recognize that problem and you come up with something that can solve it, with Jason has told us that he can, right? He's worked on this. So now that we know that we have something that's coming that can solve that problem, we have to establish our credibility as a great problem solver. So we need to start talking and bragging about our company and our products, about what problems we've already solved, right? So if you've been using Move and it's really solved your joint discomfort, you need to be talking about that. If you've started using immune gummies and it's really solved you getting sick, keeping from getting sick, you need to talk about that. If you're using the hair, skin, and nails, I think of Sonia. Oh, she is on here. I think of Sonia. Like that girl's hair is like, she looks like a 20-year-old with this long flowy hair and her skin is like glowing. She's been using the skincare and the hair, skin, and nails. So we need to start talking about the fact that the products that we are connected to are already solving problems, right? Now, granted, while we're talking about these things, we can use product testimonials. We can use Facebook Lives, talking with another thriver about the product and how it helped them. And obviously, along the way, somebody may want to order hair, skin, and nails, or they may want to order their Move. But nonetheless, we are establishing that we are connected to a company that identifies the problems in the healthcare and solves it, right? And you could talk of just even about your 3 steps solving a lot of problems there. Then you have to know your customer and know your market. So once you've learned about your product, which right now we just know it's a holistic alternative to a GLP-1, as well as the customer and market that surround it. So if we know our product, you're welcome, Sonia. If we know our product and we know our customer, so I'm telling you right now, GLP-1 is for somebody who has insulin resistance, PCOS, weight, just that nagging weight that they can't get rid of, or a large amount of weight to get rid of. Type 2 diabetics. I'm sure I'm blanking and forgetting some things, but those are your customers who are currently using GLP-1s. Some people are dealing with a lot of side effects. Some people are dealing with expense, that it's not cheap. Some people can't even get their hands on their medicine right now because it became so popular for weight loss versus the type 2 diabetic, which was originally, excuse me, it was originally intended for. Some diabetics are even struggling to get their medication because it's gotten so expensive and insurance isn't doing all that. So there's a lot of people who are already either maybe using the product, wish they could use the product, want to use the product, but they're scared of the side effects. There's a large amount of people who can be your customer for this. So if you know who they are, now you can start using your social media to reach out. So a simple post like, have you ever tried a GLP-1? You're going to get a lot of comments. You can say, I've thought about a GLP-1, but I'm afraid of the side effects. You're going to get a lot of comments, right? Like things like that. Just that's like that open net of fishing. We're just throwing those things out there. We're fishing. We're not even talking about the fact that we have a product yet, right? We're just throwing that out there that we're curious about this product. We're curious about people's experiences with it. You could ask, who on here has been on a GLP-1 and how long have you been on it? And do you have to stay? Like you could just start asking all these questions to start finding out who your clients are. That is one way of creating kind of hype around the topic for your customer, right? And then you can have where you're going to create like a build up and a launch. So giving little sneak peeks, like Jason didn't even give a sneak peek. He just literally put holistic alternative GLP-1 on a white background and black letters. It was horrible graphics. I'm sure somebody at Le-Vel was like, oh my God, why did he do that? It doesn't follow our font, all that stuff. But that's a little sneak peek. That's him using social media to just sneak peek it out there. When you are using your social media for sneak peeks, you have to remember that if you're in your story or you're making a post about it, you're talking to your existing following, right? It's mainly going to your existing following. Sometimes your posts can make their way out there, but it's typically going to be your existing following. If you're going to talk about something or share something in a reel, REEL, you have a better chance of that getting exposed to a potential new follower. So you don't want to just do your sneak peek activity on your stories and your post. You do want to, but you don't want to just do that. You also want to throw something out. Maybe you do a reel where you're just I've always got, maybe you're taking this product and you're not even talking about what it is, but you're so excited because this has worked so good for you. And now you hear the company is bringing out a holistic alternative to a GLP-1. That could be your reel. You don't know anything about it. You don't know the name. You don't know when, but you know that this has worked for you and now they're bringing out something new, right? So you want to think about how you're going to reach your existing audience and new. You can even do, once you get your list of names, like I know Samantha threw out yesterday, like who wants to be on my VIP list. Now that she has that list together, you could invite all of those people to a private Zoom where they could talk about their interest in the GLP-1, their experience with the GLP-1. And, you don't really have anything yet you can say necessarily, but as we learn more about the product would maybe be a better time for you to do this. But you can now bring them onto like a private Zoom and have kind of an in-person, a virtual in-person sort of buzz about the product. You want to do your research. You want to research your audience before you really start talking about this. So I rattled off to you type 2 diabetics, PCOS, insulin resistance. I'm not asking you to be a doctor and I'm not asking you to be a product specialist, but I am asking you to know the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. I'm saying you could peek on the internet a little bit and find out what PCOS means. Right? Like you need to do a little bit of research. You don't want to be, again, you don't have to go in and represent yourself as this expert on any of this, but you do want to kind of sort of know. PCOS, there's a lot of hormone elements to that. There's an infertility component to that. There's also just just, periods are awful. Like it's just, there's a whole thing with PCOS. And then type 2 diabetic, somebody could be pre-diabetic, somebody could be fully diabetic, right? Somebody could already be on insulin, somebody could be borderline needing to get on insulin. So there's different things that you want to know, just so that when people are asking you questions, again, you're not saying you're a doctor, you're not saying you're experienced, but you also can say, oh yeah, I've heard that GLP-1 alternative, an alternative to a GLP-1 would be something that could help with that. Like this is something you should keep your eye on and be ready for it. Offering early access deals or early access information. And again, that goes back to, Courtney is giddy about the PCOS aspect. I'm giddy about it also for you, Court, for sure. Early access deals or early access links to information. So again, going back to Samantha's post she made yesterday, just asking people if they wanted to get on her VIP list. So they are kind of getting that early access, right? They know that they're on her list, and as soon as she has information, she's going to send it. But that also, again, has given her a list of names of people that she could be talking to a little bit more in depth. Like, hey, I saw you commented on my post about that. You're on my list. Just curious, are you currently using a GLP-1 or have you in the past? Maybe they're like, no, I'm terrified of the side effects, or no, I don't want to have to go to the doctor. Like there's going to be all kinds of different reasons that people haven't done it or have quit doing it. So again, that just getting those names, that also creates such a sense of urgency. Like, oh, you got to get on my list, right? Like fear of missing out. Like don't screw around. Like get on my list. That again is going to add to the buzz of that new product coming out. And I know I'm making this all very specific to this particular product because it's the new thing that hit. But anytime Jason teases us about a product, these are the things that you could be doing. You can start sharing a variety of content. So you can start sharing teasers. So I know a lot of people reposted Jason's post from yesterday. That was a teaser. You could actually make your own posts about GLP-1 alternatives or benefits, or without actually coming out and talking about the medication, you could maybe make a post or talking about some of the pain points of a person who would need GLP-1 or who would want a GLP-1. You can come up with a fun hashtag, again, creating a buzz, something about that. You can also create some mystery around a product, which again, he kind of did by just saying holistic alternative, and he teased us with a name, and he did use the word serum. Somebody somewhere probably thinks that means you're going to rub it on your face, but we all know you're going to ingest it, kind of a thing. The other thing you could do is start to have educational content. So I will tell you, when we first kicked off our business, The Ben Boss, here in our area, that was not something that anybody did, right? It was not a known thing. Why would anybody pay for that? Why is that even a business? The first month before we even launched our business, I did nothing on that website except educate the customer. Told them how dirty their garbage can was, told them what diseases and bacteria lived on the garbage can, told them how the cleaning process worked. We educated them on the whole process and the reason somebody would do that. So then by the time we did launch and they could place orders, some people were like, after that first post, they were ready. Some people, it took a 3 or 4 little educational moments, but then they were ready. So maybe you have a friend, or I would say maybe you have a doctor friend-ish kind of thing, or maybe you have listened to a podcast, or maybe you've run across a YouTube video that has information about GLP-1s and maybe some of the side effects of them, some of the downfalls to them, as well as the benefits, because we want people excited about the alternative. But you can start sharing that stuff. You can start slipping that stuff out either to your list of names, hey, while we're waiting on ours to launch, you mentioned that you were a little worried about the cost, or you were worried about the side effects. And I found this podcast fascinating, right? It's all about GLP-1s and how to best take them or whatever. So again, that's kind of educating that person a little bit more. If you educate someone enough that a GLP-1 is an awesome product, but it does have some downfalls, and they do have downfalls, then when you come out with a holistic alternative that doesn't have the nausea, the headaches, the dehydration, all the things that they can get with it, that makes your product even better. Okay. Am I losing anybody? Or are we still here? Are we excited about our new product? I know I'm throwing a lot at you, but it's just things to start thinking about, because I think a lot of people read that post and thought, well, something's coming, but I don't know what, so I'm not going to talk about it yet, right? He leaked that on purpose. He wants you talking about that. He wants you buzzing about that. He wants you finding out who is interested in that, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's a beta test happening. I'm sure when it does finally come out, there will be already before and afters that have taken place. Jason's not stupid. He's not going to launch a product on a hope and a dream. There'll be some data behind it. But by the time that data hits, if you've already got people stoked and excited, then it's going to be that much easier for them to get that order. All right, so this is a big one, and we talk about it all the time. Focus on the customer, not the product, right? So if somebody were to say, yeah, when you take a GLP-1 injection, you're going to get a sore spot in your belly, but it goes away in a few days. It's going to help reduce your appetite, but like that kind of thing. Versus, oh my gosh, once you start this GLP alternative, just imagine like you're going to wake up in the mornings and you're not going to be thinking about food. You're not going to be worrying about if you're bloated already. You're not going to be obsessing about what you can and can't eat. You're not going to be starving all like you start painting the picture for them about the product benefits, right? Like the actual benefits for them as the customer, not like the, like somebody doesn't want to get into a car because it has a certain size engine necessarily, but they might want to get in the car because they can put the hammer down on the highway, right? That's a very big difference between like rattling off a statistic and then telling them about the breeze blowing through their hair while they're going down the highway. So that's, you want to focus on the customer. You want to paint a picture of their future, of what they can expect. Like, my gosh, could you imagine dropping X amount of pounds in such a short period of time and being able to keep it off without any side effects? And again, I don't know. I'm just assuming we're not going to have side effects. So again, it's creating excitement, scarcity, like it's getting people, like, oh my gosh, you want to be the first of this too. Like it's kind of like a trailblazer type situation where, you're going to be one of the first people to get on this holistic alternative and it's going to be amazing for you, that kind of thing. I'm hosting a launch event. This is one that's kind of hard to do ahead of time, but I wanted to throw this one in here because if you are having locals, virtual or in person, that is an event and that is an opportunity for you to talk about, hey, by the way, as much as we love our 3 steps, as much as these 3 steps have done for us, and as proven as they are, like we are so confident in our company and our product, and now there's a new product coming out. So again, if you've got 4 people at your local, 4 guests at your local, and you've just told them how amazing the before and afters are for the Thrive experience, but then, oh, by the way, we're bringing this out too. You've already set up your credibility as a product and as a service, as a company. And now you're telling them, hey, you probably want to get signed up on our list to find out as soon as this drops because it's going to go fast, kind of a thing. Leveraging your existing influence. So that would be basically taking the brand that you already have, right, and leveraging it. So let me think. I should have thought about this ahead of time. But so like if I go with gardening, gardening is physical labor. And if I'm heavy or if I'm always thinking about food, if I'm insulin, like if I were type 2 diabetic or if I was borderline diabetic and I was on insulin, there are things that would interfere with my gardening journey, right? So I can start talking about how gardening will be so much easier for me when I'm not worried about, have I had a snack today, and I'm not focused on food, I can focus on my garden. Or now that I'm able to take this GLP-1 alternative and get this extra 10 pounds off of me, it's so much easier to be digging these holes and bending out, right? Like I've got to wrap my new product and my new excitement around my brand. So, obviously moms, when you look great and feel great, it shows, right? That kind of thing. So you'll have to kind of think about your brand, your life, and how to do that. But that's the way you can start to leverage your existing following. Because I have a lot of people who follow me for gardening. And now I can start talking about maybe how gardening can get easier, right? Like I've talked a lot to my gardeners about joint support and joint health because most gardeners are really old. But I can also talk to them now about how, maybe they are type 2 diabetic, maybe they are borderline diabetic, maybe they aren't spending as much time out in the garden because it's too hard for them. And this product's coming out that's really gonna make that easier for them. Again, building your online reputation. So way before the launch of the product, which I don't know, are we way before? Did he let it slip and it's coming out in 6 months, or is it coming out in 6 weeks? Nobody knows. I bet Jason doesn't even know at this point. But you need to start to create and build your online reputation. So again, that is talking about product testimonials, showing up live, talking about what the company has done for you or the product has done for you, or interviewing people to find out what the product or the company has done for them, again, to establish your credibility, your expertise, and the company's credibility and expertise, right? Like, again, you don't have to show up as a doctor by any means, but you can show up as the person who connects people to this company and look at what this company has done for people. So you want to do that way, way before. Another thing you can start, and I want us to think about this as a group. Another thing that we could do as a group together that would be a great way to kick off something like a GLP-1 dropping is a round of detox. because a before and after experience from a detox where people are already starting to feel good and they're already starting to show a 10-day before and after. And then guess what? Now we've got this GLP-1 coming out to help us continue with all the changes, all the great changes we made, right? That would be a great way. But again, I don't know how soon the product's coming out, but that's something to think about. Gathering feedback from early adopters. I kind of talked about this a minute ago where you're asking those, we're making those posts or you're talking in your stories and asking for responses on a poll, but who is using a GLP-1? Because it's been around for a while, you guys. It just got more public in the last few years when people realized that they could use it for more than just type 2 diabetes. They could actually get their hands on it. Hollywood's had their hands on it for quite a while because they pay their doctors a lot of money for stuff. But there are early adopters who the second something hits, they want to be a part of it, right? So talk to those people. Have you been on a GLP-1? Are you still on it? What did you struggle with? Do you struggle? Like start asking these questions of people or put it in your story so that people can vote and comment on it. Because again, that's just going to help you research your market a little bit better. It's also going to have, it's going to help educate you, right, about your customer and about the product, about what people are looking for with that product. But it's also going to give you some feedback to work from so that when you start formulating your posts or your stories or your reels, you kind of start to get some of the buzzwords to talk about, right? Like the GLP-1 girlies, they have this, they got their own world. If you're not sure, go to TikTok or Instagram and type in GLP-1 and like watch the reels. There's a whole land of people who use this. Partnering with content creators, for me, that just means partnering with another Thriver to talk about the product or talk about the company or talk about a before and after. Getting testimonies, like I said, I'm sure there will be some testimonies for us to share once the product actually launches. Jason will have something like that for us. Adjusting your message through the funnel. So, you know, at the top of the funnel, that's where we're throwing out those big broad messages. Who's on a GLP-1 or who wanted to take GLP-1, but they felt awful and had to quit, like big questions, right? And then as you get further and further down, so like Sam threw out the, you know, who wants to be on my list, right? Now she can start getting more specific. Hey, have you actually taken a GLP-1? Hey, are you still on it? Hey, why did you quit? Oh, okay, well, we're bringing out an alternative. So like maybe they say, well, I had to quit because of the side effects. Well, we're bringing out a holistic alternative. I had to quit because I couldn't afford it. Well, we're bringing out a whole, right? It gets further and further down. So your message can start broad and then it can start getting tighter and tighter. And I think sometimes people forget that. Like once you get that name and you get that conversation started, it's your job to direct it more. You don't have to, like, I don't want you to catch them and then immediately go like that in the funnel. Like don't trap them, right? But catch them in the funnel and slowly start bringing them more and more and more into the fact that, hey, you said you struggled with this, the cost was expensive, blah, 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 blah. You know, we're bringing this thing out that could be really important for you. Offering value first. So this could be something where like again, and I'm sorry I keep using you, Sam, but yours is the one I saw first yesterday. Maybe somebody has thrown out, you know, their name and they want on your list. Well, what is something you can do in the meantime to kind of hold on to them? Right? So GLP-1 has a lot to do with, again, like I said, insulin resistance. So maybe you could send out people a few days of biotic, like, hey, just to hold you over till it gets here. Let's get your gut health on track. Or you could even have a whole thing before GLP-1 launches. Let's get your gut health on track first, because then it's going to be that much more effective for you. Right? Like you could literally use the launch of a new product that's not here yet to get people started on a regimen. It's like when people sign up for detox and they're like, oh, I'm going to do the balance and the boost. And I can't remember what else that threesome, the fiber, which I can't get the fiber right now. So anyway, it's kind of like that, like offering them some value ahead of time so that they can start to see some results and see some credibility with the product. And then that way, by the time that the alternative is here, they're ready to go. The last thing I will say is talking about having like bursts. So you want to burst this information out here and there, right? I don't want you to turn around tomorrow and make your entire Facebook, your entire Instagram, your whole life about GLP-1 alternatives. Okay. Like remember who you are, remember your brand, just let these things pop out on occasion. If you talk about it in your story today, maybe you talk about it in a post in a couple of days, right? Like let it kind of trickle around. But the whole process, the whole reason you're bursting it out is to see who gives you the heart, who gives you the like, who says, sign me up, who answers your questions. That is how you're going to build your list. and then start working that list so that by the time it does drop, you have all those names and those people primed and ready. Sandra says she is starting a detox September 1st. So if anybody has detox on their shelf and they want to start, well, you could probably order it today and get it by the end of the week. Actually, now that I've said that, if anybody's wanting to do a group detox with Sandra D, you got till September 1st. So I know this was a lot of information, but I just want to make sure that you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I guess is my point. There are several GLP-1 brands out there, injections. They are trademarked, but what I've learned about it is that the medication itself isn't that different. It's the delivery system. So some of them have like a push button pen. Some of them have a syringe pen. It's kind of like that's how the companies are able to trademark it. But because they're trademarked and there's really no generic yet, that's where a lot of this money is living for the land of drugs. And, you know, drug companies love to make money. So they're not going to be happy about an alternative coming out, but I'm happy about an alternative coming out because there are a lot of people who A, can't do a shot, B, can't handle the side effects, C, can't afford it, or D, don't even, maybe they're terrified of doctors. I don't like the doctor. I mean, I'm not terrified of him, but I just feel like if you go there, they give you sickness. So start creating a little bit of buzz, start gathering your names. Don't forget what you already offer that you could get people excited about before the GLP-1 alternative hits. And again, I don't know if that's 6 months or 6 weeks. We'll find out. I have no idea. But if you're always building that list and you're keeping those conversations started and you keep priming that pump with some educational content, with you know, maybe doing a Facebook Live where you're interviewing a thriver who already had great success with just the 3 steps, you know, like establishing yourself as that expert in the field or giving yourself that credibility, it's going to be that much easier when a product launches. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. There's not many faces on here, so I'm assuming that no one has questions. But anyway, this is streamed in the team page, so you can refer to it anytime. And I'm also recording it just in case I screwed up the stream in the team page. So see you guys later. Bye.